on another championship celebration. And do you ever want to get used to this feeling?
Of course. We want to win. If there's a championship out there, we want to win. If there's a game out there, we want to win. It's great. Like, it really is great that this team has put us in this position this early. And I say early into the regular season because it usually takes probably the last game. You're jockeying for a position. You're looking over your shoulder. And they made it clear. And it feels good.
Coach, I know tonight might be a little different because there was, a title on the line. But in a season like this where you're winning a lot of games, mostly by double digits, how do you keep, things kind of fresh and competitive and in practices and then be able to try to make sure you're 100% sharp on the floor in these type of games?
Well, we're challenged in practice. Like, there's a challenge. It's not like it looks out on the floor. Like, probably today didn't look great offensively. Defensively, I thought we did a really great job in the first and second quarter, and then the third, fourth quarters, I thought they did a good job of just punching it down our throats and forcing us to guard at the rim. And then offensively, I just thought we did a little bit of better job at making shots. Didn't have a whole lot of assists. We want to get our assists up. We want to make sure that we are making the right plays and right decisions. But this team, I don't know, what is this, game 26? I keep waiting for them to probably play like they played in the first half, meaning a little rough around the edges, trying to figure out who needs to score, defending pretty good, but just trying to find out who's going to be that person or persons that's able to go get us a bucket, that could keep our offense fluid. So I keep looking for that team that struggles to score and play the right way. But they find a way to only have little glimpses of that throughout a 40-minute period. I think we're probably more disciplined defensively than most teams, and that gets us over the hump. And then from an offensive standpoint, I think we got enough players that know how we want to play, even if they don't play how we want them to play. It's just a kind of weird dynamic to it. But I know they're super competitive. Like, I know they don't want to lose, and I know that they don't get rattled. So it's kind of a cool yet scary situation to be in. But winning 26 games in a row is pretty darn good.
Coach, 600 career wins tonight for you, and you talked a little bit about that first SEC trophy presentation out there, but are there any other aspects, of your career that you've been reminiscing on this season, especially given how unique it's been compared to seasons past?
Not really. No, this team keeps me present, really, it does. It keeps me present. Like, how do we as coaches not get in the way, but also continue to coach them up so they could play the right way? And I think we're always in the way, honestly. I think we're always in the way because we really can't take our foot off the gas with them. They're so young, they're so free, they're free, and sometimes free is wrong. Like, that's the way I have to explain it. It's like they play free, and sometimes it looks great, and then other times it's just flat out wrong. And that is the wrong part is what keeps us up. It keeps us like always on edge to see if this is going to be the team that we started out being in June. Like, we're still trying to look for that June team, and they find a way to play above that time and time again.
Breezy was in here saying this feels different to her in the last 2 years just because she feels like she actually contributed to this one more than the last 2 years. As a coach, what does it mean to hear that from a player who hasn't started for 2 years, has started now, and feels like she's maybe earned her spot or earned a championship more than the last 2 years?
I mean, that's the process. That's the process. Anybody that doesn't play probably the role that they want to play feels like they haven't contributed. And then when you're in the starting position, you feel like you contribute a little bit more. That's the way it's supposed to be. You know, not every freshman can come in on this level and start. We were fortunate to have 3 or 4 of them that could do it. It's hard. It's hard. They were mentally focused. They were physically ready to rock and roll. They were super competitive. And then they were able to hold their own. Like, it's not very many that can do it nowadays. And be where, you know, like, I think we got some type of mental fatigue going on and physical, you know, wear and tear of the season. And I know probably half of our starters are just looking around like, this hurts. Like, you know, where do people find the time to continue to excel in the classroom, bring it to practice every day, you know, still do their NIL stuff, and then still have a social life. You know, something's got to, you got to sacrifice something, and they're unwilling to do that. They want to get it all in, and that's why they feel as tired as they do. But we're just trying to get them to bear down these last couple of weeks and, you know, put some stuff to the side. Like, they got to really compartmentalize some part of their lives if they want to get what they visualize getting at the end of the season.
Dawn, when you won your second national championship, you were hesitant to call this program a dynasty nationally, but now 8 SEC regular season titles in the past 11 years. What about an SEC dynasty? Would you consider that?
We've been pretty successful, like pretty successful. I think Tennessee had a dynasty. I don't know where we measure up to them, but unless we are doing things that they haven't done consistently, you can't really call it a dynasty, especially when somebody else holds that reign supreme in this particular conference.
You've talked a lot about how the team looked different in June and how you didn't think it was going to look like it does now, but what has been the main difference that has allowed them to be different than that team was?
Discipline. As coaches, you get to a point where you're not going to allow them to lower the standard of our program, because it was low in June. It was lower than June, and I wasn't where I wanted to be, but I couldn't because they weren't capable of holding up the standards, because their standards weren't that high where they come from. They weren't. You know, you take a Malaysia. Like, Malaysia could do whatever she wants to do in high school. She could. You know, she's the best player, and it's nothing against the coaches or anything. It's just, you know, it's maturation. You know, you have Breezy. She's a starter. You know, now, you know, she didn't know what a starter does besides start the game. Like, there are responsibilities that go with starting, and that's to practice every day. You come in and you create habits so you can perform every single day. Didn't know about that. You know, we had people who were late to class, didn't take academics seriously. And you let them, you know, you mention it to them, and then you mention it again, and then you say, okay, you're not going to class and you're not going to practice, like, you're going to be on the sideline. Or take the day off and go over to the Doties for these 3 hours that we're going to practice. It's just discipline. When you don't allow them to get away with what they want to get away with, discipline. You take something that they like, discipline. So it's a lot more discipline now than it was in June.
Dawn, Camilla, I guess she just was a little sore, needed the day off. Do you anticipate her being ready for Kentucky on Sunday?
I do. I do, but we're going to see how it is. I mean, for Camilla, she played in a game on Sunday against Ole Miss, took a flight to Brazil, practiced 2 days with them, played a game every day, practiced. I mean, she did basketball every day, and it's tough. It's tough. She probably had a lot more tougher there than it would be, our habits here, and then come back and take 1 day off, and then come back and play 2 games. It's hard on the body. So, however she's feeling, if she's not close to 80, 90%, we'll sit her down for another game. But I know she wants to play. So. Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach. Thank you.